Well, I'm certainly feeling good. I hope you guys are too. Welcome to our Sunday gathering. It's number 94. Here we are on Sunday, January 9th of 2022. Of course, it's January 10th for our friends down under, but wherever you are in the world, we'd like to say a warm welcome. If we haven't yet met, my name is Sandra Champlain. I'm the author of the book, We Don't Die. Also have two global podcasts on the afterlife, and I'm sharing today with my good friends Carrie McLeod and Philip Dykes, who are international mediums and tutors. They teach our classes that we have online, as well as doing the medium demonstration during our Sunday gatherings. We normally have Darren Wynn here with us. He's taken a couple weeks off due to the holidays. Today he had planned to be here, but he's got a member of his furried family. One of his pets is very ill, and we all know what it's like. Sometimes we love our critters more than we love humans because of the unconditional love that they give. So we hope Dale is doing well, Darren, and you are in our thoughts. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Carrie to explain what our gathering is about today and also to lead us in the opening prayer. Over to you, Carrie.
Thank you very much, Sandra. It is an absolute delight to be here. And who would have thought 100 weeks ago that just 6 weeks later we would be starting a journey to here? And that's our theme for today. It's a journey into the year, putting your best foot forward, putting your best foot forward into the unknown to get the best out of life. So today's theme will all be about moving forward, staying strong, staying true, and putting one foot in front of the other. So as we move through the service, we always like to offer some words to that creative force of life, to that divine, some may call it God, but whatever you feel your God is, please join us in prayer. Divine and ever-present Spirit, today we have come together in order to celebrate that moving forward, placing one foot in front of the other. We know that we have people here from all across our globe, and therefore we are stepping in many directions, whether it be north of the globe or south of the globe, but always forward. Today, as we celebrate that ability to move forward in the choices that we make, today we celebrate that by looking at how we have as individuals moved forward. The purposes of our Sunday gathering are to inspire those that are living both sides of life, inspire and motivate, give that enthusiasm and that reassurance that life is everlasting and that love does not end after physical death. So without any further ado, let us open our Sunday gathering. Amen. So as we move into our Sunday gathering, it is going to be my pleasure to do a reading. And I know Darren had a reading picked out, but I thought I would leave that for Darren to do another day. And I went to look for a reading. And what book did I place my hand on? Now, don't blush, Sandra. It was Sandra's We Don't Die. And I did put this as with a word of a lie, Sandra's book. I opened it up at a page and I thought, yeah, that'll do for a reading. So here we go. So it's called Programming Your GPS and Getting on the Road. You need to know where you're going to go before you travel to a destination, right? The same thing goes for fulfilling your dreams. You need to have a clear vision and desire of what you want to do and how it will feel when you get there. There are many experts who talk about achieving goals this way. Although one thing they often forget to mention is that you have to be sitting in the driver's seat. Turn the car on and begin to drive. I learned about being a human GPS from the extraordinary author Mark Dooley. It is great to visualize, to use emotions, to be grateful, but you and I must make conscious action towards making our dreams become reality as well. In our mobile or cell phones example, you cannot sit at home and wait for the cell phone just to appear. You must start investigating which one you want. Have conversations with people about what options are there for you to be open to a good deal. There is a soul growth at stake here, so it is critical for you to do your part and take action towards making your dreams come true. I'm going to skip to this part because it fits perfectly. The power of the universe is surely behind you in fulfilling all your dreams, and it will do its best to have the things you want be real in your life. However, it has to know you are serious about your desires. The only way it can know that you are serious is if you work towards your dreams as well. Take at least one step forward towards the thing you want, and it will take a step closer to you. Taking action is the key to fulfilling your desires. I am not alone, says Sandra, in this thinking. So read some of the quotes she gathered here. What is the one thing you are going to do after hearing these quotes? You are never given a dream without also being given the power to make it true. You may have to work for it, however. Richard Bach. We should be taught not to wait for inspiration to start a thing. Action always generates inspiration. Inspiration seldom generates action. Frank Thibault. And lastly, take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. Martin Luther King. I'm going to leave these words with you. Thank you. And on the back of those words, we would like to give you the opportunity to send healing to those of you that you know around the globe, those that might be in beds of sickness, or those that are maybe just a little bit under the weather at the moment. As we send healing, we're going to play a song now. You can either watch this song and hold these people in your minds, or close your eyes and send thoughts out to them. What we would ask is that you never forget yourself. You just need to plant a thought of healing going to you, and that healing, through sending it to others, a droplet of that healing, which will be just enough for the moment that you're in right now, will remain with you. So please send as much healing you want out to those that need it most, knowing that some of that will naturally stay within you. Thank you.
We've only just begun 2022, haven't we? That's a pretty song, Carrie. Thank you for choosing that. Well, I'll be doing the address today, and you'll see that we've got our chat box open. This is a special occasion because we'll be going to be using it during this portion. So just stay tuned just a little bit. We're talking today about putting our best foot forward. Now, you probably can't look down right now, but what is your best foot? Which one would go forward first? For me, I'm right-handed, might be my right foot, which means my left foot would be behind. As we go forward in life, we do need to take that step forward. As Carrie said, take those steps in the action of our dreams. Now, press your raise hand button if you've made some kind of New Year's resolution. Be honest. I won't share your names, I promise. Oh, bunches and bunches of people. And as much as I may know in my heart that New Year's resolutions don't usually work, I'm going to raise my hand too, because there's always something we want to change about ourselves or something we want to do in our life. And if we fast forward to 1 year from today and we review what we said and where we are now, you might say, oh, geez, I've got that same resolution and it's a whole year later. So we're just going to let that word resolution just linger away. Just go, let it go in the past. Let it just disappear. Everything we do on our Sunday gatherings is to empower each one of us to live a good life now. Yes, I know we're joined because many of us have experienced deep grief, and we want evidence that our loved ones go on. And we do that when we do the mediumship demonstration. But your loved ones in the unseen world, and us, and your soul as well, really want you to have the best experience while we're here on earth. Far too many people when they get later in life or they get diagnosed with an illness, they start looking back on all the things they should have done and didn't. While the afterlife is a place to continually explore our dreams, there is so much value for our souls in doing them right here while we're on earth. Now, our passions are ours. I know we've grown up and there's people that their parents thought they should do this or that, but it doesn't matter how old you are, wherever you are right now, your dreams are real, they're valid, they're important, and you should go after them. I don't know if you've been following me the last few days on Facebook or Instagram, but I've been doing these really short thoughts for the day. Now, here's the secret. As much as I like to share, I thought if I can verbalize some of these great inspirational quotes, and this month they're all about getting things done and making moves towards your dreams. But if I could share it and discuss it a little bit, I'd be more apt to do it, right? So I have a commitment to myself for the rest of the year that I'm going to do a 2-minute video, just 2 minutes, about something inspiring. In fact, in my bathroom, just on the counter, I've got one of those daily thought of the day calendars. And every day after I take a shower, I look to see, oh, what's my message for today? And that empowers me. So there's no question that some of the thoughts I have of the day are those from next to the shower, but they make a difference for me. I know when I go to bed at night and I look to see the things that I have done, I feel better about my day. It's really crummy to think back on your day and think about all the things you wanted to get done, but you didn't. So today I want to celebrate who you are, because I really believe that when we can acknowledge who we are, how powerful we are, how great we are, that can really supply some wind to our sails to move us in the direction of our dreams. Now, my mom and I like to watch a movie now and again, and lately we've been watching 1883, the television show. I don't know if anybody else watches it, but this morning we watched episode number 4, which was called The River. And it's a bunch of European settlers that have come to America, working with some local folks in going west and to explore the unknown. Now, they don't know what's out there, but they know it's a better life from where they started. So one of the quotes today from the movie was just something like, the scariest thing that we have to deal with is the unknown. So often people stay in jobs that they don't like, or sometimes even relationships that are unfulfilling. And I mean the really tough ones. And there's an expression that I've heard, better the devil you know than the devil you don't know. And, I always say, why do we need a devil? Well, that unknown can really be scary. It really can be. But here we are, January 9th, and we want to take a step closer to our dreams, whatever that may be. Each one of us has a different measure of what success is. One of my things that I really wanted to do is slow down and not be on the road so much and not work 20-hour days catering. And I didn't know it would come by the way of COVID shutting down my business, or our business I have with my mom, but it did. So suddenly I'm in nature, which I love this. I do. There's all my birdies out there. I love it. But as human beings, we look to see what we haven't done as opposed to patting ourselves on the back for what we have done. Now, the scene was very tough today in 1883 because the settlers all had their wagons and their horses and their families, and they were loaded to the hilt. But today was the day they had to cross a river. And unfortunately, the river was deep enough that if they didn't unload some of their belongings, they would sink. And certainly there was some tough scenes to watch today. Although it was a TV show, what made me think of sharing this with you guys today is people had to look at their belongings, and they had to look at what they could leave behind. And so today we are going to cross a river together. And I want you to consider leaving some things behind that are no longer serving you. And that's some of the beliefs that you may have about yourself from the past. Now, our chat box is open, but you do not have to type this part in there. Unless you want to, you can. But we all have things left undone, unfinished, unresolved, that you feel bad about, that you may feel guilt about, that they may have been on your to-do list a long time and just they're weighing you down. You may have things like negative thoughts, right? Who has negative thoughts? We all do, but we would never treat people in our life the way we treat ourselves. And let's be honest, some of the words we tell ourselves, they're not very nice. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You can't do this. You're going to fail. So I want you to just take 1 minute. We're just going to take 1 minute. And again, you don't have to type this in the chat box, but think to yourself, what are you ready to leave behind? Okay, just 1 minute. If you want to close your eyes, any of those negative thoughts about yourself, any moments that no longer serve you, maybe a conversation with a person that you thought you should have done something differently. Be honest with yourself. This is totally for you, and there is a reason we are doing this. When you have a good amount of things that you have in your mind that you're ready to leave in the past, go ahead and press your raise hand button. I'll give it another few seconds. Really think about it. And don't worry, you can always pick these things back up. So they're really not going too far. It's kind of like when you take your first foot forward, best foot forward, the other foot still is part of you. All right, thank you so much for doing that. And as our settlers had to decide on what they were going to leave on the side of the river, there was one gentleman that he was a musician. And so his piano and all of his musical instruments had to stay. And it was a little heartbreaking, but then, people get new opportunities all the time. But here we're talking about the negative things because it's really interesting. And this is part somehow of human design. And I don't know why, but we do look to see what's unfinished, undone, negative all the time. I mean, that's always there. So it doesn't leave too much room to think about positive. So, okay, are we up for just leaving that on one side of the river? Now, we don't have to go through the river. We don't have to swim. I have the most elegant bridge to cross. Oh, it's beautiful. In fact, if you want to go on a beautiful boat, we can take the boat over. But we're going to leave those things in the past. Now, this part, I want you to use the chat room, okay? Or the chat box. I want you to think about if you were to ask somebody who really loves you, your good qualities, and be honest with yourself. Are you smart? Are you generous? Do you have a good sense of humor? And if you're not willing to type it in the chat box, use your smartphone or tablet or a piece of paper. But I want you to think of and actually get exhausted by this, all the good things about yourself. Now, I'm going to play a piece of music that's just over a minute long, and we're going to have a little music to play while you're doing this. And here you go. Now, I want you to think to yourself of all the good qualities about yourself. Here we go. All right. How do you feel about that person? Pretty darn good, don't you? Now, who wants to win always is that voice and negativity. Like Carrie said, you got to put it in the back seat. You've got to be the one driving your car. It was told to me once, and I love this, that you are not who you think you are. You are who other people say you are. There's a whole world that's calling you smart and wonderful and caring and compassionate and funny. Whole world. And there's just one of you that might say, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I can't do it. So the next step we're going to take on putting our best foot forward is we're going to look at our accomplishments. They can be big, they can be small. Some people started businesses. Some people have kids. I don't have any kids, so I don't know that accomplishment. Some people graduated school. There's so many things from big to small. Even one for myself is when my dad had passed. I was right there by his side for the last few months. I have never known that side of Sandra, who really stood up and was his advocate for his health. To me, that's a huge accomplishment, is being right there with him and who I had to become. So we're going to hear one more piece of music, and I want you just to exhaust yourself in a couple minutes and just write down your accomplishments, the things you're proud of. Here we go. Well, you guys, I have tears in my eyes for what I'm reading that's coming through from you guys. Boy, I tell you, I am in the biggest group of winners and success stories that's happening right now anywhere on earth. There's 235 of us in the Zoom room right now. And what you have written is so powerful about what you've done. So add what you've done to who you really are. And can you see how awesome you are? I don't want you to just see it. I want you to feel it. In our human DNA, yes, we look for what's undone. But I think it's so important to take time to look to see what has been done and who you really are. So even though I asked you to type it in the chat box, this is a really good thing to have by your bed, a notepad. Start off the morning with, if I was talking to the people I love, what would they say about me? Write it down. And you know to your core who you are. And also write down those accomplishments. And not that you have to write them all every day, but you can keep the list going. So many times we wake up with a feeling of dread or a little bit of guilt, or you want to procrastinate just one more day over things. But when you look at this list, man, you can do anything. And you have. So just as important as waking up in the morning to notice who you are, I think it's important to go to bed at night and pat yourself on the back. And while we won't be playing any music or writing things in the chat box right now, I want you to consider that tonight, before you go to bed, you do a little mental review of your day for the good things, the positive things, where you made a difference. Our dreams have a real sneaky way of coming out during our sleep. And if we fill our mind with negativity, well, that often can come through our dreams, those emotions. But when we fill it with positivity, that's an opportunity that we've worked out these things before we get to the dream world. So often our loved ones can come through our dreams. And people say that we actually visit the spirit world while we're asleep, but we don't remember. Our dreams can be positive, they can be negative. If you want to know if something's a visitation from your loved one, did you wake up feeling love, that it's positive, extra clear than normal dreams? Those typically are our visitations. If we wake up and they were not happy, not great, that can be our own subconscious mind trying to work things out. Our loved ones want desperately for us to have a good life, for us to be happy with ourselves. They now see the other side of the veil, and they can see that no matter who we are and what we've done, it is enough, and we are special. And they want us to feel that. Someday we're going to let go of that ego that says we're not good enough, not smart enough, and all that. But until then, we have to deal with it. And I find it's a very powerful way to do the practice that we just did just now to set you sail in the direction of your dream. And like Carrie said, like a GPS or sat nav, we actually have to put in the destination that we want to go. We've got to sit in the car. We've got to start the car. We've got to press start on the little device and let it lead us to where we need to go. Every so often we get off track and we have to, it recalculates. But in the big picture, you guys, you're fabulous. I want everybody to just give yourself a pat in the back. If you could read everything that I just read about all your accomplishments and all the good things about you, I couldn't be happier to be in this group today. I'm so proud of you. So I'm going to conclude the address portion. And I really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for taking the time to look within yourself. Carrie, Phil, Darren, and I want you to have the best life possible. We want you to know that you're loved by us, by the community, by the invisible community that surrounds you, that your life is important. You're not alone on your journey. So thank you. We're going to move now into our demonstration of mediumship. And if you're with us here for the very first time, we need to give a little instruction about how this part works. First of all, I think you got a little practice on pressing your raise hand button. If not, feel free to press it right now and see what happens. Oh, we've got some new people pressing the buttons. Yes, I see that. And then you want to press it again where it says lower hand. This is fun. If you guys could see what I'm seeing, all these hands going up and down, it's great. Phil is our demonstrating medium today. So in a moment or so, you can see his hand reaching out. He is a silly man. Oh, anyways, in a moment, he'll be swapping seats with Carrie. We'll be hearing a piece of music. Now, the music is meant to uplift, make us feel good. And I added a little something special to the video that Carrie had sent me. It's a young man who wanted to dance like Michael Jackson. So you could put that on your dream going forward. Absolutely, you can. But just let the music move you. Think those happy thoughts. Think of happy memories with your loved ones. If you want to picture them right there in the room with you, you know, they already are. So you might as well picture them there. They're young, they're healthy, they're feeling great. When we transition to the other side, we feel our best. If we were in a wheelchair or had any illness, anything, I mean, we are healthy, whole, and complete. So they're doing just great. They really are. So we listen to the piece of music and just enjoy. And then Phil will be getting some information from a spirit person who has contacted him. He will deliver some bits of information about this person. And we want you to really listen in clearly. If Phil is describing someone in your life and you can understand all that information, we want you to press your raise hand button. Now, really pay attention because like I said, we've got a big group here. So we want you to be able to take every bit of that information. If you can take it all, we want you to press your raised hand button. Sometimes it takes a minute or two to figure out who our friend in the spirit world is here to communicate with. Phil will give different bits of information, evidence, as we call it. Some might be shared memories, some might be details about the person. For the recipient, all we want you to do is say yes, no, or I don't know to Phil when he gives the information. We want Phil to do the work. We want everybody here to know that it's the spirit world communicating that our recipient hasn't given the information. So I think it's important that we all listen to the messages, we all listen to the love, because it's so clear that our loved ones are part of our life. Now, Carrie, Phil, and I are just 3 people representing now almost 250 people here in our Sunday gathering. We'll get a handful of people that'll come through from the spirit world, and they are representing thousands. They're representing our loved ones. So even if your loved one hasn't come through, please know they're with you. They join you. And most importantly is they love you. So let's listen to our piece of music and then we will be back. So let me just clear something out and so I can press play. All right, here we go. You can keep your eyes open, you can close your eyes, you can sing, you can dance, you can do whatever you like right now. Here's one feel-good song. Hope you enjoyed that little boy. Hi, Phil.
Hello, Sandra. Hello, Carrie. Hello, everyone out there as well. I've got a question for you, Sandra. Was that Darren dancing? Was it when he was younger? You got to look at Darren.
It was not.
It was not. Okay, fantastic. Good dancer, though. Good dancer. I wish I could dance like that. But it's a pleasure to be here as always. And I was stood out of the way of the screen before, just having a few thoughts. And all I could see was this interaction of the chat box. So fantastic idea of yours, Sandra, to have that. And people seem to really enjoy it. But I'm sure it was all good stuff, but I didn't look at it purposely because I didn't want any of it to influence my mind whatsoever. So those that engaged, absolutely wonderful. And I'll have a look later on, sort of thing. But again, pleasure to be here. So my job, ladies and gentlemen, is to demonstrate mediumship. However, those loved ones of yours want to work with me, whether they want to speak, whether they want to show pictures or just impress on me, we never know, but we're just open to whoever comes. So Sandra, if it's okay, I will begin.
It is absolutely okay.
Fantastic. Because as I become aware of the spirit world, I know I've gotten the impression of a lady, and I know this lady is Mum. I also know that Mum passes with cancer, but I also feel as well that she would have been in charge of like a community organization. And I actually feel it's either, bear with me, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe I've got somebody pushing in a little bit cheeky. In fact, I'm just going to hold that contact for a second because somebody's come over step right in. I want to talk about a lady who was in like an old person's residential home, but I also know that she ran the place as well, like a warden or somebody that facilitated there, because I know there's just this impression as she comes in. But I also feel as well that she would have been in and out of hospital at the end, and I do believe that it was cancer as well. So I know that she would have been in that residential care, but I know she ran it for a while as well.
Oh, thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, who can recognize this lady? And we want you to press your raise hand button if you can. Well, we've got 3 ladies with their hands raised, Phil.
Okay. But I also want to say, and this is where it gets a little bit interesting, even though she ran it for a little bit, she ended staying in there, and she could be a bit of a pain in the posterior for the person that turned over, because I do believe that she still liked to have her say.
Okay. We've got one hand went down. So we've got Janelle and Bernadette. Your hands are both still up, just in case you accidentally put them.
Okay. But I also believe as well that you would go around to visit her and you would see this happening where she would be quite outspoken. She wouldn't hold back.
Okay, you ladies can both still take that information?
Okay, good.
Okay.
Because I know this is how she comes forward, but I also believe as well that the person I want to be talking to, I know she was grandmother, but in a way she was like their mother, because I know they were extremely close, and she always had good advice to give for them as well. And I also know that she would almost to the point talk about things about her life and make them laugh as well.
All right, I think we are down to Janelle. Janelle, would you press your unmute button? There you are. Hi, Janelle.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello, Janelle. Do you understand everything I've said, Janelle?
I do. Yes.
Good. And with your grandmother, do you understand that she was a real character?
Yes.
Because I know there's just this fun side to her. But if I said she knew all along what she was doing, there's a humorous side to her.
Yes.
Because there's just this sense of fun with her. But I also know that she was like your mother. And it's just this sense of where she told you about her life and the things she got up to.
Yes.
And if I said as well where she told you some of the things, you had a real good giggle with her and laugh about it.
Yes.
Because if I said she was quite outgoing for her time period, the way that she thought, she was quite forward thinking.
Very much.
Because I know here the theme tonight is best foot forward, but I also know your grandmother had this real, how can I put it, this real thought of, I want to get out there and achieve, and I want to do it my own way with dignity and honor and the best way she could. But she also had this element to her where she really wasn't bothered what other people thought.
Absolutely.
Because I'm saying that, and I want to say it in the right way. She's not being derogatory. It's like, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. If you don't like it, lump it. But the way that she brings it forward is very comical and humorous. And I know there would have been a few things she told you that you were like, that's a little bit risky, Grandma. Understand?
Yes.
Because I also feel as well that she was quite entertaining when talking to other people. She could be really sociable.
Very, very.
And if I said she could tease people as well.
Yes.
And if I said that she could tease the opposite sex and the younger ones as well.
Yes.
Because each time I keep on going back to, I get this impression where she's been a little bit forward, with me, but I know it's just her personality and humor. And there must be where people around her in this nursing home didn't know exactly how to take her. Say yes
yeah.
or no. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know here it's almost like she's not everyone's cup of tea, but she's not worried. She stays true to who she is, and she has that. And I also believe that she would have said along the lines to you, you need to be who you are. You're not going to be liked by everyone, but you need to be true to who you are.
Yes,
because again, it's like stereo. She keeps on repeating it to me, and I know it's a message for hers, and I know it's very apparent now as well. She makes me feel so. I know it's about getting on with life, best foot forward, and we can't please everybody. But I also want to say, even though she comes across larger than life, I know there's memories where she really goes in within herself at the end as well, almost like shuts down a little bit.
Yes.
Because I want to say there was that loss of independence with her, and almost where I want to say her mind starts to slow down a little bit.
Yes.
Because again, there's just this impression. But I also know that she's very intelligent, your grandmother. She knew how to do things correctly, because each time she works with me and impresses upon me, she makes me feel that this slowing down is with you also, to clear your mind for things that are going on now.
Oh.
So it's slow everything down so you can see things clearly. And I also know your grandmother wouldn't take sides. She would just dish her medicine as she saw.
Yes.
Because this is what she's saying. It's almost like slow everything down, take a good look at everything and make your decisions. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I know that she's just impressing me this way as well. Would I be right in saying that she always wanted to look her best as well?
Yes.
And there must be memories where you either helped dress her or corrected some of her dress towards the end.
Yes.
And I also believe that she liked to be colourful in her dress as well.
Very much.
And would I be right in saying there's memories where she used to put flowers in her hair as well?
Not flowers.
Bear with me. Then would you understand where there was something placed in the hair that was particular for going out or being
Like
on show? Bear with me. Would Janelle, would you understand where there was either an Alice band or something placed in the hair to keep her hair in place?
Yes, yes.
That's fine, because I know here, but I also know she wanted to set the best impression, make the best impression for people. And I know that was the best foot forward for her, because if she felt good about herself, she could meet and get on with the world.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's what she keeps on bringing to me, is make sure you feel good about yourself, and we can take that first step, that best step forward in life. And that's what she wants to leave with you. Just before I leave you, you must have been looking at old photographs very recently of her too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that sounds a little bit of a tentative yes, so I'm just going to say you must still have photographs of her.
Yes. Yes.
And they're all black and white ones as well.
Some, yeah.
So because I know here, because again, it's about the story of the photographs showing her growing up, or if I get this right, it's almost like you growing up.
Oh, yes.
That's fine. So I'm going to leave her love with you and say thank you very much, Janelle, for allowing me to do that. Please take your grandmother's character, strength and love, but also that message about best foot forward, feel good about yourself, and let's do it. In fact, she's quoting, have the fear and do it anyway. So I know here she is trying to push you forward.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
very
absolutely
much.
welcome, Janelle. You're welcome. You're welcome. Good.
Beautiful. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Janelle.
Good.
Thank you, everybody, for listening so patiently. I know you are.
I want to go back to the first lady that came in now, because I know she's been very, very patient, which speaks volumes. And this is how the spirit world works. So I know I've got Mum in the spirit world. I know she passes with the cancer. I know it's an unusual cancer. I feel it's to do with the bones. But I also feel that Mum was a very patient lady and never made a fuss and never really complained about everything. But I also believe as well that she was very family orientated. She loved nothing more than having the family around her, and especially family get-togethers as well.
Wonderful. Thank you, Phil. All right, ladies and gentlemen, who can take all of this information? Press your raise hand button.
And I do believe as well that there's a couple of people put their hands up. One of the people that I want to speak to still has Mum's watch.
All right. We've got Autumn and Tracy. Both have Mom's watch. Okay, one hand went down, and let's bring in Autumn. Thank you, Tracy, for listening. Hi, Autumn.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello, Autumn. Hello. Do you understand everything I've said, Autumn?
Yes.
Good. Now, I know you a little bit, but I don't think I've ever given you a contact. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's fine. Then with your mum, would you understand where she was a very patient lady? She would never make a fuss. She would wait to the opportune moment before saying anything or doing anything to correct something.
Yes.
And would I be right in saying that timekeeping was really important as well?
Yes.
Being very punctual. But I also feel that etiquette and manners as well was really important.
Yes.
But I want to go back to the family get-togethers where I know she loved just to watch and socially interact with all the family members.
Yes.
And if I said that she particularly loved, in particular, interacting with the children.
Correct. Yes.
Because it just feels I want to ignore the adults and just have a lot of fun and just get down to their level where it's almost where I want to say that this interaction with the children made her really feel special and really feel good about herself, almost like it took her worries away.
Correct. Yes.
But I also know that where these family things were, she would have been quite forceful about people participating in party games and family activities.
Yes, she was. Yes, yes.
Because it just feels like if we're having a party, you've got to play the games, you've got to act silly, you've got to wear the hats, and you've got to do it all.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And I also believe that she would have made games up as well,
Yes, she did.
because it just feels they don't make sense, but it's all for mum's amusement. It just feels that she's just that way. But I also know as well she liked to play card games.
Yes, loved it.
And I know she would have taught you patience as well.
Yes.
And I want to say that she used the cards, and particularly the playing of the patient, as a way of talking to you and getting to the root of issues.
Yes, sometimes, yes.
Because I know that she's very intelligent and very clever how to win people over and get them in the right mood so they divulge everything as well.
Yes, for sure.
And I also know where mum used to live would have been quite rural. There would have been either a lot of vegetation, trees roundabout.
Yes.
Because I know mum used to love going out in nature.
Correct.
And I know where she went out, she used to love going for walks. And there must be a particular place where you can smell the scent of the trees, like the pine or the cedars.
Yes.
And I also believe as well that it was the same route that she took, but I feel it was off the beaten track.
Yes.
Because it feels like I'm weaving in and out of the trees. And I also feel I've got to be careful just in case I get one of the branches in my eye or in my face.
Yes, she did. Yes.
That's because I got those memories, because it feels I want to go in the depths of the woods and sit on some of the fallen trees and just take in the magnificence of the beauty of it.
Yes.
But I also know that this would have been done with you when you were younger as well.
Yes.
And you used to bring back the bark of some of the fallen trees.
Bark.
Bear
Not
with
sure.
me 1 second. Autumn, would I be right in saying while you were there, you either crayoned on paper and took the impressions of the bark?
Yes, I did that. Yes.
Because I know this is where your mum was taking me, and it's just all these memories. And it's almost like your mum was very nurturing, very caring, but she's very sentimental as well.
Yes, for sure.
Because I believe that your mum never threw anything away that she was given.
Correct.
And I want to say there's not just one bottom drawer, but there's a few bottom drawers full of gifts and tokens that were given to her.
Yes, yes.
And I know she would never wear them, and I'm laughing because I can feel her amusement, because some of the things she wouldn't just wear, and it's not her thing. She would never say no, though.
Yes, correct.
She would always be grateful. But I also know that she would have kept, and I'm going to go for this, every single card that was given to her.
Yes, this is true.
Because I want to say in those drawers, they were chocker full of those cards.
Yep, true. Yeah.
And I want to say these cards were birthday cards, anniversary cards, Christmas cards, good luck cards. There's all kinds of different cards in there.
Yes, every card. Yes.
And I also know that mum used to love giving cards.
Yes.
And I also know your mum was very astute and bought plenty of cards. How can I put this? For different occasions, but when she passed, people found them and thought they're unused.
Yes, yes. Yep.
Because again, there's just this impression that she liked to be prepared, liked to be organized, and it's the little things. And I also know that she used to love receiving letters.
Yes, she did.
Not just the verses in the cards, but letters. It's almost like an old-fashioned ability that people have lost these days, but I know your mum cherished the letter, because I know it's the small things that really made a difference in her life.
Correct.
And I want to say you're a carbon copy of your mother. You're delightful around everybody.
Well, I hope so, but I'll
But I
take
know
it.
you have the characteristics of your mum, but I also know in the last few days, you've actually laughed with somebody, and I feel it's your husband saying, I'm turning into my mother. My mother used to do this.
Yes, I did make a comment like that.
That's because I know that it's just mum's way of laughing and just showing she's around, but I know it's all these values. And again, there's just this impression, oh, bear with me. Would it be right, Autumn, saying that mum used to have a holiday home as well?
Yes, she did.
Because it feels like I went on holiday, but it's to our own holiday home. And again, it's a favorite place for the family to converge and get together.
Yes.
And there must be memories where we either got snowed in as well.
Yes.
And I want to say that people use the excuse of being snowed in to stay there longer and not go to work.
I'm sure they did. Yes.
I think I'm referring to yourself there, but we'll see. But I know here there's just that impression with mum as well. But would I be right in saying you've got mum's wedding ring as well?
Yes.
And I want to say you've got a pair of earrings of your mother's.
Many. Yes.
But I want, do you know the old-fashioned clip-on ones? You must have a pair of the old-fashioned clip-on ones.
Yes. Many.
Because mum's saying it's worthless, but it's priceless to you.
Correct.
And I know recently you've been going in that jewelry and going through it and looking at it, and you showed some of the grandchildren now.
Yes, I've gone through it. Yes.
It's showing that mum's around, she's aware of what's going on, but how diligent, how patient she is. And she's just stood back and said there was no way I was going to stop that other lady. It wouldn't have been my way. I waited for my time. But your mum wouldn't say anything, but you get my words out, put my teeth back in. You know that your mum would just raise her eyebrows and just look at you, and that's all she needed to do.
Correct.
Because that's what she wants to leave you with. So I'm going to leave her love. Forgive me, one last thing. Autumn, would I be right in saying where you live, you've been either tidying your front garden around the front steps?
Oh, no.
Then if I'm not with that, and I'm not round the back of the house, am I?
No.
Bear with me a second, because she's not letting me move on, because I was about to say this is my next contact. It's not. That holiday home, was it like a cabin, please?
Yes.
And would I be right saying there were steps there?
Yes.
There must be some, thank you. There must have been games played at either the Easter time at that holiday cabin or home as well.
Yes.
Because it feels like I want to be putting eggs and things around the steps.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's what I'm going to leave you with. So I'm going to leave her love with you. Say thank you, Autumn, but I want to bring all those memories of fun, upliftment and inspiration, but that very much that patience of your mother as well.
Thank you. That was just so beautiful.
You're welcome,
awesome.
Autumn. You're absolutely welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Autumn. Thank you, Phil, and everyone else for listening in.
Okay. I feel I've got another character with me, and I feel here that I have a young boy. I do believe it's somebody's son. I also know that he passed it as a very young age, but I also know he was a rule to himself, and there must be memories in fact, it's elementary school that I went to. I'm sure that's the American version of primary school. So it's the younger school where I know he would at school events like shows and things, just walk about and do his own thing. He wouldn't pay attention to anybody else, because I know he's very much a rule to himself.
All right. So elementary school age boy.
Yes, is that right? With in America, the elementary schools, that's fine.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, son in the spirit world, and the description. Okay, we have Caroline with her hand up. Let's bring in Caroline. Caroline, could you press your unmute button? Hi, Caroline.
Hello.
Hello, Caroline. Pleasure to speak to you. So you understand your son in the spirit world, but when he was younger at that elementary school, he was a rule to himself.
Yes.
And he could, it's almost like he could embarrass you in a good way. He would never listen.
Yes.
Because it feels like at school events, he'd just walk about, do his own thing, and he just wasn't fazed by anybody else.
Yes.
And it also feels that never changed in his character. He was always a rule to himself.
Yes.
But I also want to say this, people absolutely adored him. People loved him.
Yes.
Because he made everyone smile and he made everyone laugh. And I feel this is part of that. He's going to do things his own way.
Yes.
Would I be right in saying that he had an answer for everything?
Yes.
Because it just feels that whatever he would do that you want to approve of, or he would do, it just feels he would always have that answer. But it's almost like you had to bribe him or kid him a little bit to get him to behave.
Yes.
And I want to say this is what people fell in love with, because even when he was behaving, he still acted up a little bit.
Yes.
And would you understand where this personality, his character, really inspired other people and made people, other adults, parents, just absolutely adore him?
Yes.
And even the teachers as well, because they could never stay mad at him.
Yes.
And would I be right, because there's just something here playing in my mind, that he became ill at a very young age as well?
Yes.
Because again, it just feels that people, because of his, how can I put this? Because of the condition, let him get away with a little bit more.
Yes.
No, it's all right.
Okay, no, I don't know.
You don't know, because I know I don't want to say the sympathy there. It just feels that people, this is who he is, this is how he's going to be, nothing's going to change him, and nobody tries to change him.
Yes.
That's fine. Would I be right in saying, in a way, he never grew up?
Yes.
Because there's an element within his soul that's like, I'm still here, I'm still living, I'm growing up now. But you still talk to him every day.
Yes.
And I also know you've still got some of his schoolwork as well.
Yes.
And I know you've still got some of his clothes.
Yes.
And I know you've either kept his room the same. Would that make sense?
No.
It doesn't. Then would you understand where you've still got all his belongings and a lot of stuff from his room that you've not let go?
Yes.
Because I know it's just the way, even when you said no, he's still bringing in. And would I be right in saying that you've got some of his drawings and things that were specifically drawn for you?
Yes.
And were they saying mummy on it as well?
Yes.
And I want to say you've actually kept not just paintings and drawings, but you've kept cards as well that he's made.
Yes.
But I also want to say you've that's fine. And you would have sat with him, Caroline, helping him write his name.
Yes.
And you've kept those bits of paper as well with it all on.
Yes.
And would I be right in saying you still have either a baby or very young hairbrush of his?
No.
No, bear with me 1 second. Then there must be memories where you used to sit and brush his hair.
Yes.
And where I want to go is you must have kept some of his hair.
Yes.
Because I know here it's just his way of going about it. Your son is very sentimental. And I want to say there's part of him that's a little bit rebellious, but you knew he just had that little bit of a look in his eye. He'd always check in to see how much further he could go.
Yes.
Because I know he keeps on looking at me almost in this coy way. How much can I push you? So I know he would test people's resilience and patience.
Yes.
Okay. But I also know when he wanted something or wanted people's attention, he wasn't backwards at coming forwards, was he?
No.
Because as I'm talking to you, he keeps on pulling on my jacket, and it's almost like he's not going to stop until I acknowledge him. But I know he could. To some people, you think, oh God, he's going to annoy them, but he's not. He's just so loving and just so lovable that he gets away with it, because he's just got this wonderful smile that lights up,
Yes.
and it just melts everyone that looks at him.
Yes.
And would I be right in saying that you used to give him lollipops as well?
Yes.
That was just to keep him quiet, though,
Yes.
because he knows about it. And it's
Probably.
almost like, I'll be good because I know I've got this. I know I've got to be quiet. So I know you had between you a code that he understood.
Yes. Yes.
And I do believe he could speak, but there's just something here. Would it be right in saying that his mind didn't work in this, in his mind worked in a different way?
Yes.
Because I know everything he's doing, I'm having to be very careful. I'm having to check everything and go through everything with him. But it's almost, I know I get on famously with him, but I know he would wrap me around his little finger and he'd get everything he wanted, because that's how he was with people. And would I be right in saying every week, oh, bear with me 1 second. Caroline, would I be right in saying each time you picked him up from school, you had sweets with you?
No.
But there must be
No.
memories where you brought his favorite sweets to school at times.
Yes. Yes.
Because I know here, now he's paying attention, because I've got hold of the sweets and he's paying attention to me. But I know this is your way of bribing him as well. He's laughing because he knows the words. But I want to say, you don't just talk to him, you think about how he would have grown up to be now.
Yes.
Because I want to say is a very handsome young boy, young man, and the way that he presents himself. And it's almost where, bear with me, it's very clever how he does things. You must have you must have dressed him very smart, but when you dressed him, he either changed the way he looked or pulled his shirt out and didn't wear it the way he was meant to be.
Yes.
Because all of a sudden he stood at the side of me, everything's tucked in, he's really well presented, and he wants to, and his hair's combed for a change, he says. I want to say he looks absolutely perfect, and you must call him your little angel.
No, actually, no.
Then he's acting, no, bear with me. Somebody used to call him their angel, because I know here his pretense now, the way he's presenting himself is that angel. He's behaving himself, he's doing everything right. And I know I've just got to say these few words, that I love you, and I love you so much, Mum. On one of the drawings he gave you, he's also showing me where he put on I love you, Mummy, as well.
Yes.
Because I want to prove that he is saying that, because he's given me a picture as well. I'm going to leave his love with you, Caroline, but know that he's around you, know that he hears you, and he just keeps on saying I love you, so I know you've said you've loved him back. And one last thing, you must have felt that kiss on your face or that touch on your face when you go to bed as well.
Not yet.
Not yet. Do you remember I've said it? Because it feels like I'm just feeling lips on my cheek, because I know he wants to do this, because I know there's that great love, and he wants to just share one more thing, that he now looks after you from the spirit world, Caroline.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm going to leave his love, and he has been well behaved. He's looking after other children, he's telling me as well. So I know here there must be memories, just one last thing, where he used to get either the other children to be organized or line up. He was quite bossy at times as well.
Yes.
Because he says, I'm looking after the children, but I am being behaved this time. So I'm going to leave his love with you and say thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you very
welcome.
much.
You're absolutely welcome. Good.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Phil.
Good.
And everybody, our community here online.
Okay, so as I become aware of the spirit world again, I know here I have a lady coming forward. I do believe it's Sister. I do believe Sister has an addiction, and I know it's that addiction that takes her to the spirit world. But I want to say she tried to hide it. She was saying that she cleaned herself up, but I also believe here that it's almost like she almost worked as a professional. She was in a professional career, but she started to give into that addiction again, and she relapsed into it.
Thank you, Phil. All right, who can understand this lady? We've got 2 hands up, Phil.
Okay, so I also know as well, before this happened, if you looked at her, the sister, I also believe that you could not tell that she'd slipped back in, because I believe that she fooled everyone around her. But I also feel where that professionalism is, she held a position of authority. I feel she was quite major, almost like I want to go into some kind of legality or profession of that nature.
All right, we're going to bring Alan in, and thank you for listening, Nina. Alan, can you press your unmute button? Hi, Alan.
Hello.
Hello,
Welcome.
Alan. Do you understand everything I've said?
Most of it.
Most of it. Okay. Do you
Oh,
understand
no.
Sister in the spirit world?
Yeah.
Do you understand she passed with that addiction?
Yes.
And you understand where I'm going with that, with the substances?
Yeah.
That's fine. And do you understand, though, where she was either cleaning herself up, everyone thought she was doing better,
Yeah.
and where she was working, holding a job, but the job was, it was quite a professional job?
In a way, yes.
Because again, and there must have been either fine details, legalities, or something that was quite serious about that job, though.
Yeah, there was.
That's fine, because I know it's important, but I also feel that she started to relapse, but at first nobody could tell.
That's right.
But I feel right at the end, it was only a very few people that knew that she had relapsed.
That's right.
Because again, there's just this secrecy to it. But I also feel as well, Alan, that she didn't live that far away from you.
Well, I'm in London. She was in Newcastle.
Okay, then that's wrong. Then please say no. Please don't tell me information.
Oh, sorry.
So, okay, that's absolutely fine. But then there must have been either a meeting between you just before she passed, or very close to that passing.
Yes, yeah,
That's fine.
yeah, it was.
Because I know there seems to be this closeness, the way that I looked at it, I just looked at it the wrong way. But I also know with your sister, she was very plausible with everything she said.
Yes.
Because it feels like butter wouldn't melt, but you knew, Alan, that something wasn't right, and you could tell when she wasn't telling the truth at times.
That's true.
Even though you could never prove it. And I also believe she was quite stubborn in her way as well.
Oh, yes.
And there must have been either, let me just have a look at it. Thank you. There must have been also photographs of her. Now, you've told me she lived in Newcastle, but there must have been photographs of either the Humber Bridge or a bridge where she was.
Yeah, there is.
Because again, she keeps on showing me these things. But with your sister as well, she was a law unto herself.
That's true.
And if she wanted to speak, she would speak. If you tried to contact her, she didn't always respond.
No, that's true.
And I also know that you got either short shrift answers from her as well.
Yeah.
And would I be right in saying your sister wasn't always the most supportive of you, Alan, as well?
True.
She's not being derogatory here. Please don't think that. But it's almost where she got on with her own life. And, thank you. Would I be right in saying parents weren't the most supportive of her? In fact, I've got that wrong. Bear with me. Would I be right in saying she wouldn't accept support of people?
True.
Because I know here, but it's almost where she wants to extend, and she finds this difficult because her paying compliments or being positive towards the family at times wasn't the easiest for her.
That's true.
Because she's holding, I can feel the tightness of her lips where she wants to say, I'm so proud of you. And I also want to acknowledge something. I should have listened to you as well, Alan.
Good.
I know we're aware of the spirit world because she says you often send your thoughts to her, but I also believe as well that you've actually seen your sister within your mind as well, either sitting in the power or meditation.
Once or twice.
Because she says, I've done my best to come and let you know that I'm okay, to let you know that I'm around, to lift you up when your spirits are low. I know she could be stubborn and wouldn't accept support, and I know people acted in her best interest, but she didn't always see that.
No.
But she wants you to know right now that she's with you.
Good.
Would I be right, Alan, saying that you have either a fear or dislike of dentists as well?
I used to, but not anymore.
Used to, because she's given me the memory of this. She must have had the same phobia as well.
She did.
That's fine, because it's almost like as I mention it, I can feel her retort and retract, and she closes her mouth as well. So I also know she was very conscious how she looked.
Yeah.
Because of her lifestyle, she was that little bit paranoid.
Yeah.
But what she's saying here is we all have those phobias, those beliefs. It's for us to manage and go past them and best foot forward. Your sister could be quite pushy as well, couldn't she?
She can, yeah.
Because she's actually just pushing you forward. And that's what I want to leave you with, is that pushy nature, but in a positive way. And
Right.
would I be right in saying, as I'm talking to you now, Alan, you either have a picture of her in front of you?
Yeah, I have actually, yeah. Very big
Because she's
picture of her.
acknowledging being looked at as I'm talking. So it's showing she's talking to me and being there with you as well.
Yeah.
So I know here, and it's the easiest thing to say, and I feel people said it to her, but I want to say, Alan, she's saying we need to get out that little bit more.
True, that's true, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to leave her love with you. And I want to say, in your family, there's a birthday in every month.
There is.
And it's almost
from January.
And it's the beginning of every month.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
Because she says she was terrible at remembering them, but she knows about them now in the spirit world.
Oh, yes.
So I'm going to say that's a bit of a tough consolation. So I'm going to leave her love with you. I know there's other people there, but it's about her communicating. I'm going to say thank you for coming forward. I'm going to leave you her love. Bear with me. I know you said you're in London, but would I be right in saying that you live near Wimbledon?
No.
You don't? And there's no connections to Wimbledon with you?
Well, there used to be. I used to serve Wimbledon Church.
I know, bear with me, but it's not that. Bear with me. You and your sister have memories of watching the Wombles as well.
Oh, the Wombles, yeah.
The Wombles of Wimbledon. That's a UK
right,
program,
yes,
ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to leave it, Orinoco and everyone else, all the memories. I'm showing my age now as well. So I'm going to leave those memories, those fun times spending between you and your sister when everything was well, and I'm going to leave her love with you.
Thank you so much.
You're absolutely welcome. It's a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Kerry, Sandra, it's been an absolute pleasure to work on behalf of the spirit world, relay those contacts, be part of them, meet your loved ones, but most of all, be part of those steps forward in people's life, because mediumship's about the living and inspiring the living. I'll leave you with those thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Phil. And if you haven't met Phil and Carrie yet, they teach our weekly classes. We've got a Tuesday class, the way to your spirit, Wednesday, psychic development, and Thursday, mediumship development. And they're here every Sunday with us. Just some news, because we've got something really big happening at the top of the hour, wherever you are in the world. Is we are doing another Zoom webinar, kind of like this. It's going to be a questions and answer period with the film crew from a movie called Living with Ghosts. Now, don't let the ghost part scare you. It really is an investigation into grief therapy and is there an afterlife? And so we've got the filmmaker with us. We've got Professor Jan Holden, who is the president of IANS, which is the International Association for Near-Death Studies. She's had a near-death experience herself. She's written many books, and she's an amazing woman. And then we have Graham Maxey with us also, who has been involved in what's called induced after-death communication therapy. It was designed not to connect people with their loved ones in the afterlife. It was designed as a grief therapy. And what's been happening throughout this is that people have been reconnected with their loved ones. And the loved ones are healthy, well, whole, just as they come through on our Sunday gathering. So there is a movie called Living with Ghosts, and it's going through different premieres around. So there's different times where you can watch it. And there's been several here that have already seen it, several haven't. You don't need to have seen the movie to be part of the Q&A though. And I recommend that you come. I'll be there. Yeah, come join us. So just go to wedon'tdie.com and hit the store button, scroll down, and you can register for that. You need a Zoom link, just like you do here. We will not be airing it live on Facebook. Please register, even if you can't join us live, because that registration link will become the replay link. And we are fully aware that not everyone gets a medium reading during our Sunday gatherings, but the representatives that come through are here to say, gang, we're still alive. We are well, we're with you, we love you, we are okay. They don't have time where they are, and for us, it could be years. And what we really want to do is give you everything we can to help you through the grieving process, help you with living life, be part of a community that has been there, that understands. We've got lots of free resources. In fact, while you're on that store page, if you want to scroll down, you'll find my audiobook, We Don't Die, A Skeptic's Discovery of Life After Death. You can type in coupon code FREE, F-R-E-E, be my guest to listen to it. And chapter 10 is how to survive grief. Grief is brutal, as we all know. It's something that joins us here. The only way to the other side of it is through it, but there are definitely some things we can do to help ease the pain. So be my guest to have that as well. Also, registration is open for our next Sunday gathering. We have a beautiful demonstration this Friday with Scott Milligan, where we close our eyes and sit for healing, followed by a demonstration of trance mediumship. So everything and more is at wedon'tdie.com, as well as over 400 episodes of interviews with me on my two podcasts. So I'm going to turn it over to Carrie for some words for the week.
Well, it has been an absolute pleasure to be part of today. It's a real shame that Darren's not with us, but we know there's really good reasons that he's not with us. But he is there with us, taking that step forward. Because that's the thing between the whole of the We Don't Die. It is about stepping forward. Who would have thought that 94 weeks ago, we would still be going 94 weeks later? And that's because we've always said, what feels right, we will do. Because you know, when you think something feels right and you don't do it immediately, what happens is you put it on the side or on the back burner, and then a moment later, something else is in your thought. So remember, if you do not do something, the universe will allow somebody else to do it. The ideas, Wayne Dyer said, there's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. So if that idea has placed itself into your mind, it's there with very good reason. It's there because the universe is encouraging you to do something with it. Now, it can be something very small, or it can be something that's pretty profound. Whether small or profound, it's to do with your life, your journey, and your stepping forward. So please don't ignore those steps. If they feel right, do something about moving in that direction. So it's been an absolute pleasure having you here. Thank you very much. And I'm going to pass all the way over to next door for Phil to do the closing prayer.
All that way, along the other side of the world. That's what Zoom does to us all. So wonderful. Wonderful words, Kerry, Sandra, and our hearts and thoughts are with Darren at the moment for his pet family. That's good. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for that prayer. So we're going to pay our gratitude and send our intentions to that unseen world that rejoices within our love. Great Father, inspirational Spirit, we ask for that love to stay with us, to grow within our hearts and within our minds, as you can receive and hear our thoughts right now as we all bow our heads in prayer. It's with gratefulness within our hearts, with that pride, that inspiration, that we want to walk forward with our best foot, one foot after the other, taking those steps to be great, to succeed, to be the best version of who we can. It's with that strength and knowing that all this community is going to do that at once together, that we know others follow and walk by our sides. But most of all, we know our loved ones have gathered together to help us, inspire, and to be the best that we can, to make this world a better place, understanding our thoughts, our desires. And it's here where we leave you just for a few moments to send your thoughts out to that unseen world, to that source of life, that God, knowing that he will be listening or she will be listening. Amen.
Thank you very much, Phil and Carrie. And we're going to go into our closing song now. And stay to the end, if you would. Picture yourself crossing that river, leaving the past in the past and going for it, going for your dreams, knowing that you're fully supported, loved ones are around, and that your life matters. I forgot to tell you at wedon'tdie.com, click on the top. We have a Facebook group. It's a great place to interact with other people, meet new friends, and it's just the place you need to be. Okay, here we go. Closing song.